Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide and another edition of Q&A. You ask the questions, I try to address them to the best of my ability, so let's get on. Love your content, thank you. With the remarkable Pro Move and Pro, I have one issue. The pen, when attached to the device, is charging the battery. So the device is, the tablet is charging the pen's battery. So it's always at 100%. That can't be good for the longevity of the battery. A switch to turn the loading function off would be helpful. The battery lasts long enough anyway. Greetings. That's a really interesting and important point, especially because devices like Remarkable are supposed to last a long time. If you take a look at Remarkable 1 and if you take a look at Remarkable 2, these are devices that are supposed to be there, around for years and years. And it's an incredibly good point that I completely overlooked, but you are right. In that pen is a battery. And yeah, while the switch may be kind of good, what I think would be actually a lot better is the battery management or battery charging management for the pen, so that you as a user can decide what is the maximum charge cap. So let's say 80% or 75%, and when the device should remind you when you should charge the pen's battery, because it's not good to discharge the battery below, a certain point. The batteries in these devices, they're happiest at around 50%. So ideally, like, it's not perfectly usable example, but in an ideal world, if you could not discharge the battery under 45% and not charge it above 55%, there's a study that came out that actually documents that in those situations, that if you just had like 10% operational around the middle capacity of the battery, that the battery would then last for over 30 years without losing the capacity under 90%, if I remember correctly. That obviously is a very extreme example, but something to that effect. Battery management that would remind you, hey, if the battery of the pen is below 30%, that it reminds you, you should charge it. And when it is attached to the device, that it doesn't charge over 80%, that alone would give a couple of extra years of battery longevity for that pen. I know you said no in this Q&A, but hear me out. I am. As someone who uses the Supernote partner apps a lot, I think you're talking about all of the various partner apps or lack thereof would really benefit the community. For example, I have heard overwhelming praise for the Remarkable app would just like to see a counterpoint, or even if you think it has improved. Thanks again for the video, and dropping the Let's Talk About Books video was awesome. Thanks. Yeah, I hear you, and it's a good point. It's just that it's so annoying and so incredibly boring to do that type of work. But yeah, you make a really good point, and I will do something like that. The only thing is that Remarkable is now working on a major redesign of their app and the web app, what they're calling interface. So I think that I'm gonna be waiting for that to at least take some form and be launched at the very least, before I venture into doing these types of videos. Or, so that's one of the things that I'm thinking about. Or the other one is that I simply make a dedicated video about a certain app and a platform. So Supernote app platform, or Supernote app companion, or the Boox app companion, and those are separate videos, so that you don't have to wait for the Remarkable to actually, finish their thing and be done with it. So yeah, I'm thinking about it, and probably I'm gonna go with the second option, simply because, yeah, there's other stuff that's already available that I can bring out to you guys, so that you have a resource as well for those who are interested or in need. He means the anchor in the Neo Reader. It's more annoying than the one in the Notes app because it has an animation to it. That sounds particularly terrible, and I actually need to check it out. So I need to get my Go 10.3, the unfortunate one. Oh my, it really is worse than I thought, because it's this little guy there, and if I tap on it, it goes like this. stays there and then goes away, and it never goes away. Yeah, sure, you can tap on it to go back. So yeah, while you now do have that functionality, you don't have the ability to, I think you can't move it. Nope, it's just like a bookmark. It just stays there and it's part of the UI. That's where it is. I guess for reading just documents and things like that, that's fine, unless you have the document expanding over the whole thing, but there's nothing you can do about the the animation thing, so that is extra annoying. The other part that's really annoying is that I've mistakenly updated and I cannot revert back. I wrote to Boox many times now, several times. With this, I raised the Boox ticket and everything with the, requesting the ability to revert back to 4.0 on my Go 10.3, and I never received any kind of information back, not even a decline or anything. It just simply went completely unaddressed. The problem with it is that they obviously know that they've messed up severely with the Boox update 4.1 or 2, depends on which device you are now. This one, every time I start it up now, is receiving another version of an update. And sure, it's like they just say like small bug fixes. I'm sorry, those are not small bug fixes, and it should be very precisely stated which bug fixes have been identified and addressed, so that people know if their bugs have been addressed and should they file new bug reports. I mean, those are absolute basics here, people, but we don't have that. And the problem is that even the updates that you kind of get with this one, for example, the previous one that I got, disabled the power button. I was unable to put it to sleep mode. It just simply wouldn't work. And the sleep mode didn't work at all, even with the cover or anything like that. So the only thing that I could do was long press and do a hard shutdown for 20 or 30 seconds to kind of completely hard shut down the whole device, restart it, and it again had that same issue with no sleep. And only after I reset it, left it alone for about 10 minutes, and then powered it up again, then it went into a mode where now I can eventually get it to sleep. But did you see how long it took for it to go to sleep? That's another thing that I simply don't understand. Sometimes it will be instantaneous, other times it's going to take a ridiculously long time to go to sleep. Another thing that I noticed after the 4.1.1 update, your general navigation is so much slower. It's opening the files that I've opened gazillion times on this device takes like ages more. So it's a genuine downgrade in every possible way that I can take a look at it and measure it, which is deeply unfortunate, because once you do update to that 4.1, there's no way of going back, and it can genuinely ruin your device to the point of it no longer being usable for you at all. That's where we're at right now as Boox users with the update 4.1.1. That's the reality. Why did Boox stop producing the Note Air without color? The alternative is the Go 10.3, which I feel has much cheaper build quality than the Note series. I don't know if I agree with the much cheaper build quality. I think that Go 10.3 while definitely has some kind of refinement issues about this holder for the faux leather here, absolutely. But other than that, I think that it has a really nice design and a really good build quality, and it's a solid device that has been able to withstand quite a lot of use with me for now a year and a half, or almost 2 years actually. It's going to be almost 2 years now with me. Build quality is really good, but I do agree with the severe lack of Note Air series kind of being obliterated, which I think is a shame. I still think that Note Air 1 was a phenomenal device for what it was, and I wish that they had improved it in these lines of what we have here. Because just imagine if you had like, yeah, Go 7.8, for example. I mean, that in this line, like this thin and this kind of nice, of course it would have to be a little bit thicker because of a smaller footprint. That I think is severely lacking, and unfortunately instead of that we got the Go series with the Go 7 series, which is an excellent as an e-reader, but as a note taker it's an absolute abomination that should not be used as such a thing. So yeah, the 7.8-inch segment in the Boox line of devices is sorely lacking, and I wish there was a Nova Air there with the front light, without the front light. The color stuff, whatever, sure, put one out there if you really want to. But the monochromatic version is the one where e-paper truly shines and is best at. And that's where we really need these devices, because those are devices that people actually genuinely want to use and want to buy. I've been using Remarkable One since 2017 and haven't found a good enough reason to upgrade it to any of the newer models yet. Sure, speed, color, storage, battery life, backlighting, etc. are all nice and handy new features, but the Remarkable One still does everything I need it to without a fault. I think most long-term Remarkable One users like myself are probably just used to that early e-ink latency. Plus, I love that the Remarkable One can take a beating. Great videos, keep it up. Thank you very much. And I really do agree. If I were to be a user who is able to find, you know, all of his needs met within the Remarkable ecosystem, I probably would have stayed with the Remarkable One as well, because I still do have my OG Remarkable One that I purchased back in 2017 September. And that device, I don't think that I'm ever gonna sell. First of all, for sentimental reasons. Second of all, because I think it's an incredibly good device that I can rely back upon and kind of use it, mainly because it just works and it can take a beating. I still, to this day, do use it from time to time on occasions where I just need something, usually on the outdoors, where I don't really have to think about anything regarding that device, but I just needed to be able to kind of jot things down, take some measurements, put it on the ground, put it on the concrete, put it on, you know, anything, and it doesn't care. It just works. That is something that's been lost to sexiness of the design, the marketability of the design, the materials, the glass, the aluminum, the blah, 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 blah. And that kind of stuff, unfortunately, is gone. I mean, we do have Supernote Manta, for example. That one is following along those lines. And I know that it is as robust as the Remarkable One is, but it's a lot more expensive device. And therefore, I tend to kind of, handle it as such. Remarkable One, I don't know what it is about it. It just exudes confidence for you to use it and that it can take it. Like you just said as well, it can take a beating and has proved that it can take a beating. So you have that extra level of confidence in a device. And that's something that I think it's worth a lot. Does the Boox platform allow for creating to-do and calendar items directly from your notes? To the best of my knowledge, no. This is not something that you can do, and you can do it on the Supernote Manta. So if you're kind of considering between these two, the integration of the calendar and the to-do lists and the events and things like that, that's a very, very important consideration, especially if that's like a environment that you are kind of relying on. And yeah, Supernote there as well kind of takes the lead hands down. I still don't quite understand what digests are useful for, but I love my Manta. Digests, the user is referring to the digests in the Supernote platform. And in one of the recent updates, they've kind of revamped the usability of digests, that you can, basically get them and share them between documents and notebooks, and it really integrates into the notebook in a really efficient way. What are digests? For me, at least, in my mind view, the best way to think about it is like super duper extra awesome post-its or bookmarks that you put in a document or in a notebook, but these are like really powerful and really intelligent and things like that, but they start as bookmark / underline / post-it kind of a thing that expands it to so much more functionality. So it's something that is supposed to help you get the gist out of sections of a book, notebook, or something like that, and quickly navigate between important sections of your notebook or your workbook. Regarding Remarkable 2 Typefolio, can't we select several words or a phrase only by tapping, holding, and dragging on the text? You can, but it's actually really strange. So if you're in edit text mode, I am not able to do that with the pen or the finger gestures. Recently, they've added now so that you can move the cursor with the finger while in edit text mode, but you still can't long press and hold and select and get the handles and do a selection. You can do that, but you have to exit the edit text mode and you have to go into the marquee selection mode or just select mode, and then you can select the text. It's just that it's not implemented to work within the edit text mode, which is where you want it and where you need it. So maybe I'm missing out something, but that's at least the way that I can see it work, currently. I hope you see this comment, Voya. I have Palma 2 Pro. I have a Mint mobile SIM with a number. I downloaded an app called #messages. I can make and receive calls and text messages like a phone should. It's awesome. While that may sound awesome, I'm not 100% sure if that's actually entirely legal for that device to work as a phone if it's not being sold as having these functionalities while hooking up to GSM networks. I would check on that part first, that you're safe and that your phone calls are safe and that your data communication is safe, because some people still use two-step verification methods via SMS. In itself, it's not great, but if you have like a device that maybe has some security issues, or maybe is not certified, or maybe it's not supposed to work as a phone, and you receive confidential or security-based SMSs on that device, for example, your two-step verification code, I would be very, very wary of that and very, very careful to make sure that what you're using is actually safe. This is regarding the Boox Note Max. Does it offer comprehensive offline speech-to-text and handwriting-to-text? Actually, yes, it does. The only caveat being is that for handwriting-to-text or OCR recognition capabilities, it needs to be online the very first time that you do it to just activate it. Once you've done that, then it can do it offline without any problems, as I shall demonstrate now on my Note Max. I need to, yes, age. Let's do a check here. I am offline, as the camera can show. So we're in offline mode. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to AI, if my glasses allow me to, and I tapped on converting, and it already converted because I did a previous test before that, and it actually converted the entire notebook. But let's try, and I'm just gonna add a new page here, and I'm gonna add new text in this page while still being offline and doing everything hopefully in one shot, if I don't have to kind of edit some mess ups. So this should re-trigger the conversion because we have the new stuff added. There we go, and it converted because it was super small, and it just added it there, and we're still offline, as you can clearly see. The same thing goes with the text-to-speech. So I can test it here. I can just add a text box right around there, and I'm using, I think a Gboard, but you just find your microphone here, and as I tap on it, it's now going to do real-time voice conversion in my text box, and you can use this for typing emails, typing documents, or any other kind of thing, because that's your text input from the keyboard functionality, all the while we are offline. I may actually disturb it now. I think I have because it's now in the background, but we are offline and you can see that it actually did it normally. So yeah, you can do it. All right, that's it from me for this edition of Q&A. I hope that you found the video informative and or useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and do let me know in the comments down below your other questions that you may want me to address in the upcoming Q&As. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye.